Hi there and welcome to the Colour Project, an online art workshop brought to you by Creative Ways Harlow and Essex 2020. My name is Amanda and I'm an artist with Creative Ways, and in today's workshop I will be exploring with you how to make natural inks using plants, leaves and other things that you might find in your kitchen cabinet. And this ties in nicely with the colour that we'll be looking at this week, which is the colour green.
Hi everyone, my name is Farah and I'm a trainer, life coach and colour specialist, and I will be co-hosting our special colour project recordings to celebrate Essex 2020 Year of Science and Creativity. I will be revealing the colour green from the aspect of how it can affect us physically, mentally and emotionally, and therefore our general well-being.
To help celebrate the Year of Science and Creativity, Farah and I will be recording 3 special workshops which will each creatively explore a different colour. We're able to offer some free art packs and downloadable PDFs to accompany these workshops. To be one of the first 50 people to receive a pack, please contact us via the email below or on the link at the Essex 2020 events page or through the email at the end of this film.
Of course, these materials are also readily available at craft shops and online, and we have ensured the materials we are working with are economical. So if you do get hooked, you can order more and carry on being creative. So why a colour project?
Well, colour is something that everyone can relate to. It's all around us and affects us in ways that we don't realise. We're both really passionate about colour and creativity, and I think Farah will agree that sharing this with other people is one of our favourite things to do. Focusing on a particular colour will enable us to explore different themes, art techniques and materials in each workshop.
Absolutely. Our aim for these workshops is to inspire creativity and enjoyment for all, sharing the understanding of the amazing well-being benefits which come from creativity, the power of colour and the overwhelming health benefits that come from nature.
We truly hope that you'll enjoy trying out what you've learnt in these workshops and contact us for the free ink recipe PDF that accompanies this workshop. And just to let you know that if you do have any questions, once again, you know that our email is below or at the end of the film or on the Essex 2020 events page. We hope you have fun and join us for the other 2 sessions as well as spreading the word too.
So welcome to the journey through the Colour Project. Today's journey begins in unveiling the colour, the very fantastic colour green. Colour, of course, is everywhere, and to be able to see the beautiful array of colours around is amazing. But did you know the way we take in colour is not just with our eyes? We absorb colour through our skin and all our senses, and also an unseen way through our magnetic energy field or aura. If you imagine yourself picking up a towel to use of a certain colour, which may be a colour you're not used to or do not even particularly like, how does that colour make you feel? This can be anything, not just a towel, a toothbrush, a pencil case, absolutely anything. When we shop, we consciously choose colours, and these are absorbed not just by our eyes and our other senses, but also by our energy field. The way we actually see colours happens through cells within our eyes that are stimulated and are able to change the energy into an electrical impulse. Our brains work using these electrical impulses, and we have these very special cells that are cone-shaped and also ironically called cones, functioning to receive this light energy and process it for the brain. The human eye can only see the visible parts of this huge electromagnetic spectrum. In animals, of course, it's very different, and many can see much bigger parts of the spectrum. But for us, what is visible is only a tiny part, which ranges from wavelengths from about 380 to 740. Almost in the middle, around 565 millimeters, is where the energy of the colour green can be seen. and how great it is to be able to see the fantastic world of the colour green, which really is a wonderful colour, moving through hues from gentle, soft and pale to striking and spectacular, as this picture certainly is. Green goes hand in hand in nature, and so is abundantly seen both in plant life and of course in animals, which here we can see be very vivid and actually quite mesmerizing and for sure beautiful. Green is also a very popular colour of choice. When asked, in fact, it is said to be second only to blue. It's a colour that symbolises growth. I'm sure when you think of spring, it's one of the colours that comes to mind. And green has an unspoken, profound effect on us physically. We can feel restored, and subconsciously it induces calm and relaxation. This we can really experience when we see swathes of green countryside, rolling hills and trees. It is for the same reason that green landscapes are popular for desktops, to instill a peaceful and relaxed state of mind. So yes, green is indeed a calming, stress-relieving colour, which is relaxing, but at the same time, it is also paradoxically invigorating. Because our pituitary gland is stimulated with the colour green, we can indeed become more creative and have greater focus or ability to read with clear understanding. It's a colour which has a tremendous effect on us mentally and physically. And so in reality, it's a colour that we need daily. So as we know, most plants are green, and this is because they contain something quite wonderful called chlorophyll. It is this pigment within the plant that is helping to perform a complicated and life-sustaining process called photosynthesis, which is quite simply a powerful gift for our whole planet. The process of photosynthesis occurs due to the green pigment or chlorophyll. It absorbs light energy and converts this into chemical energy, which not only gives the plant its own food, but also generously donates oxygen into the atmosphere. And of course, this is vital for life. So the green chlorophyll and the part it plays in producing life-sustaining nutrients is just such a key player in our diverse and wonderful world, and fundamentally our own existence. Now this slide here is really to appreciate the ingenious science behind the beautiful autumn colours we enjoy. It outlines how the green colour from the chlorophyll for photosynthesis decreases as the weather cools and there's less sunlight, revealing the hidden pigments from carotenoids, the yellows and the oranges. And then the new chemical changes produce even more colours such as reds and browns, the ones that produce such gorgeous displays that can take our breath away. Of course, this is just a snapshot, and you can further learn about the colours changing in autumn.
We're going to be taking advantage of that lovely chlorophyll now in the next section and experimenting with different leaves to make some drawing inks. To create our green coloured ink, we need to have a pestle and mortar to crush the leaves, and then I've picked a selection of natural materials, grass, spinach and dandelion leaves to experiment with. We also need some distilled vinegar to add to the mixture, which will add a clear liquid and also helps the chlorophyll separate from the leaf. Put a few drops of vinegar into the bowl and then you can start crushing the leaves. It's also possible to do this with a food processor, but there's something quite satisfying about doing it by hand. When you start crushing the leaves, a white foam will be produced, and this is how you can tell that the chlorophyll is starting to be released from the leaf. Find a clean jar and then scrape all of the crushed leaves and the liquid into the jar. It's quite messy, so make sure that you put down paper or an old tea towel on the surface or table that you're working on. You can see already that the liquid has got an intense green colour. You can add some more vinegar now to the mixture and make sure that you put the lid on the jar really tightly. Give the mixture a bit of a shake and you can see already it's turned a beautiful green colour. That now needs to be left for a few hours to get more of the chlorophyll out of the leaves. Meanwhile, you can start mixing up your other inks. You'll find that spinach is a little bit softer than the grass, and so it's much easier to crush, but you can give yourself a head start by tearing up the leaves first and putting them into the bowl. Add a little bit of vinegar again, and then start crushing your mixture. You need to crush it until you start seeing the white foam, and that will tell you that the chlorophyll has been released from the leaves. So into another clean jar, scrape your mixture, scraping all of the pulp and ensuring that all of the liquid is put into the jar. Then make sure that the lid is really securely tightened and give the jam jar a shake. You repeat this again with your dandelion leaves, exactly the same process. So you should have a grass ink, a spinach ink and a dandelion ink. You now need to leave this as long as possible so that all of the chlorophyll comes out of the leaves. So a minimum of 1 hour, but if you can, try to leave it overnight. Once you've left your mixture to develop for at least an hour, it's now time for the next stage. To create a lump-free ink, you need to be able to sieve the mixture. You can use a small tea strainer or a piece of muslin as a strainer, and a spoon is always useful to squeeze the liquid out of the pulp and a small jar to store the ink in. Give the mixture its last shake. And then you can slowly pour the mixture through the strainer and into your clean jar. As you can see, it is now a lovely rich emerald green colour. You can use the spoon to squeeze the last bits of the liquid out of the leaf pulp. You can now add a clove to the ink to stop it from going mouldy, and if you want you can add a little bit of honey to the liquid to thicken it. There's no real ratio measurements for this, it depends what you want to use the ink for and how thick you want the ink to be. Repeat this process with the spinach and the dandelion leaves. The ink can be used without the additives, but if you don't want to use them, then it will be quite watery. When it's in this natural form, then it's best applied with a paintbrush and treated like a watercolour paint. It can be used as a lovely green watercolour wash over a drawing, or to stain your papers to use for scrapbooking or collage. The gum arabic or the honey will thicken the ink and make it easier to use as an ink to write with, as it will not bleed so much over the paper, But this is something that you can experiment and have fun with as you make your inks and experience the different materials that you can use. So to recap, you need to collect your green leaves and grasses, tear them up and put them in a jar, and add some white vinegar, which will help the chlorophyll separate out of the leaf. If possible, leave to soak overnight, and then you need to strain your mixture. You can create a range of different coloured green inks by experimenting with the grasses and leaves that you use. Once these inks have dried, the colour will change slightly as the chlorophyll will oxidise. So now enjoy a walk in nature to forage and find some green leaves.
A much better way of enjoying green is walking in nature, where we can really experience the huge benefits it offers. Making time to walk in woodlands and forests in an abundance of green foliage and trees can leave you feel rejuvenated and refreshed. It can also help us to feel balanced even when we have so many busy thoughts going on in our minds. For a great many years in Japan, it's been an integral part of the culture to forest bathe. This is known as Shinrin Yoku and involves spending about 30 minutes daily meditating, walking, or even just sitting under trees. They do this for the immune boosting effects, mood improvement, and ability to focus. And importantly, to improve sleep patterns. We are all recognizing daily how vital it is to have good sleep. Of course, Eastern philosophies lead to research, and now leading well-being experts are confirming that this type of activity can help us to increase our energy levels and directly improve our health. In essence, it can make us happier, energized, and leaving us feeling positive about our lives. So why wouldn't we try it? Of course, a regular 30 minutes daily is not possible for everyone, but enjoying being in the forest, woods, or even parks, breathing in beautiful nature and helping us and encouraging us to reduce stress. One of the many trees we are fortunate to have in Britain is the alder tree. The alder tree is usually found near water such as a lake, and it has many superpowers. One of them is the ability to fertilize barren land, and another is its very generous artistic resource. From the catkins picked in spring, a green dye can be made, and then from the sprouting shoots, a cinnamon coloured dye, the twigs, a black dye, which was actually used for writing and artwork for hundreds of years. The dyes are of such a high quality that they can even be used to dye other wood. A super tree for sure.
This project has been a really lovely excuse to get out into nature. I had a very long walk, and while I was out I took my sketchbook with me. I've made some quick sketches of some of the beautiful trees there are around at the moment. I don't think any of them were alder trees, but there's some really nice shapes and structures. I've now brought those drawings home, and I'm very, very loosely using the inks that we made as a watercolour and colouring in the sketches. The ink's quite wet and I'm working quite quickly to colour in the trunks, the grass areas and the hedgerows that I've drawn. The blue pen has started to bleed a little bit that I drew the original drawing with, but I think that's quite nice, it just adds to the picture. I'm now using a very watery mix to just put a little bit of colour into the sky. I quite like the looseness of this picture, so I think I've done enough now, and I'm just going to let it dry. And here is another drawing from my sketchbook, which has been coloured using the natural inks.
There are just so many wonderful colours in nature, and the extraordinary displays that can be seen, especially in animals who use colour in the most ingenious of ways. One of the exceptional methods animals use through using colour is camouflage, which is a remarkable way of hiding, disguising and confusing onlookers by blending into their surroundings. Camouflage in animals is very popular using green due to the environment they live in, and they showcase this not only changing their colours but also morphing their textures to conceal themselves, which is just such a skillful spectacle and quite wonderful. So, as we have seen, green encourages vitality and a positive mindset. And as a symbol of spring, rebirth, it's often associated with wealth and progress. And of course, humans have been researching and perfecting the use of colour to invoke and awaken thoughts and feelings in themselves, but also in others. And so for many years, advertising is one of those areas where the colour green has and is being used very cleverly. There are multiple clever ways marketing specialists partner up with colour psychologists to use colour effectively. And green is often used to denote wealth, improve focus, awaken creativity and pleasing emotions. And of course, in the past few years, giving the green revolution or environmentally conscious advertising an extra edge. As we have said, green is a very popular colour. There are so many shades, in fact, more shades of green than any other colour. So therefore, designers can have an extensive choice to work with in creating that perfect space, and design of products and creativity can just burst forward in green. In the man-made world, we are so immensely fortunate to be able to revel in a variety of vibrant shades and textures of green. So we can invest in and create our own enjoyment and of course awaken our own creativity and kindle this in others. We have been unveiling the colour green in the environment and its profound effects upon us emotionally, mentally, and equally, the way we appreciate green can also directly improve and support our physical health to promote inner balance. The vital phytochemicals such as chlorophyll that are present within plants are joined with phytonutrients, and these have been shown to significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases, and the green coloured phytonutrients have a special impact of their own for us. So it is really what Grandma says. Eat those greens if you want to be strong. Enjoying green through salads, leafy vegetables, and other types of green vegetables, not forgetting the many herbs that are green, and the much enjoyed green tea of the East. Green tea, which really is a staple diet or a staple drink throughout China and beyond, because they recognise how highly beneficial it is for promoting a healthy life. Of course, Placing green plants where they can be visually enjoyed enhances the quality of the air and also certainly can encourage calm within us and simply beautify the space we spend time in, especially if green happens to be your favourite colour. But also, growing plants actually gives you that tactile absorption of the colour. And this activity is, of course, a favourite for lifting spirits and feeling one with nature. It is really up to us to create and stay feeling good. And so finding our own green hue, the one that we feel is special, can help us in that for sure. And as there are so many shades, it's really not going to be a difficult thing to do. Whether that shade of green is our living space, something we admire or use, or indeed something that we place on the dining table to enjoy in a meal, there is no getting away from the beautiful, life-giving and highly beneficial colour, green. And of course, the creativity it inspires within us to share.
We hope that you've enjoyed our film and we've given you some ideas of how you can incorporate more green in your life and transform your environment with artworks created with and inspired by nature. Please join us for our other two films, which can be found through the links on the Essex 2020 site, where we will be exploring the colour blue and the pigment gold.